I'm Tadeh Keshmeshian. I was born and raised in Iran until the age of 13. And for the last 16 years, I've been in the IT field.
I'm Idet Keshmeshian. I'm Armenian, born in Iran. I work at a national CPA firm. We have two boys. Shant is 14 and Kyle is 12. We spent a whole year planning our wedding and spent no time planning our marriage. So we went into the marriage thinking, oh, this is great, now we finally get to live together and it's wonderful. And then we just started to see things change. We were both in it for ourselves. It just started getting tougher and tougher and it became work.
As a matter of fact, I think there was more arguments than just a regular conversation.
After 3 years of marriage, we had our first boy. I mean, of course, joyous experience, but it did put more stress on our marriage. But then we had another. I still had a full-time job and now 2 kids. It was just too much, and Tadeh was not involved in parenting.
I was relieved when she focused on the kids because I had some free time, and my whole motto was I bring home money, I'm not abusive, and I'm faithful, so I'm good. Our youngest one was maybe about a year old, and the IT bubble burst and I got laid off. So I stayed home to take care of 2 kids, and wow, that was difficult.
I saw that we were drifting apart. As a last resort, we found a therapist. At the end of that, she told me that he's not going to change, and I don't see that you have any other choice than to leave him. Right at the time where we had decided it was over, the marriage was over, Tadeh's sister announced that they were getting married. We had to bite the bullet for another couple of months.
We were like, well, we can't separate now because how can we get a divorce in the middle of my sister's wedding?
When it was go time for us to end it all, we just couldn't do it. Both of us had decided at the same time that we're going to fix this.
One day I was listening to radio, and all of a sudden Dave Ramsey comes along and starts talking about Financial Peace University. I went to Idet and said, you know what? I think we should take this class. He gives you this booklet. Around the margins are all these verses from Proverbs. And I'm reading this, I'm like, wow, there's some good stuff here. And then I found out it's a book in the Bible.
When the course was over, we thought, why don't we find a church?
My friends, they mentioned about Rocky Peak. And I'm like, well, is this one of those weird churches that are passing snakes and drinking battery acid, because I thought that's what it is. And he goes, no, nothing like that. It's just very spiritual and stuff. Come and check it out, So I'm like, okay, sure.
We walked in to Rocky Peak that first day. It was just love at first sight.
The worship was amazing. It was a song called With Everything. Man, I just bawled. When that happened, a huge weight was lifted. And I didn't get it. I'm like, what's going on, And the sermon was about repentance. And I'm like, oh. and it just felt like Mike was directly talking to me. After that, I'm like, okay, that was God talking.
A few months after we were at Rocky Peak, we heard about life groups. We thought, why not? We were so hungry for God.
I was a bit nervous, because this whole experience is new. I started to trust God. So I figured, this has got to be a good thing.
Our life group was a couples life group. Everybody was very kind and loving, and they just embraced us. It started helping our marriage. There were people to help us through it. That was the best part, that they were for us.
I kind of dropped my guard down, because that's one of the things that I experienced at the worship, that, Tadeh, you gotta give up your pride. And I figured, okay, I'm gonna share stuff that is private for us, because I just felt that's the right thing to do.
Life group was the first time in our lives where we experienced people praying for each other, and they were open to receive prayer requests during the week. So if something was going on where we were worried about something or we needed prayer, we just texted them, and here they are, all these people praying for us, and just peace would take over. We've come a long way in our marriage relationship. We were first operating by ourselves. Now we are operating as one.
What works for us is the prayer. I used to be extremely reactive. Like half a second, I'm just like, I explode. But what I've learned is like a quick prayer. Then I'm like, okay, it calms me down and I realize, okay, well, what's the godly thing to do? His grace has just saved our lives and saved our marriage. And I have friends who on the Facebook that they see our pictures and they called me and say, hey, you guys are so happy. I remember you guys had a lot of issues. What happened? I'm like, well, Rocky Peak Life Group. Without God, we couldn't do this. It was impossible. I encourage people who haven't joined the life group to join the life group, especially the ones that are studying marriage. Because if you have a okay marriage, a life group will make it into a better marriage. If you have a better marriage, the life group will make it into a great marriage. And if you have a great marriage, the life group prayers will make it into a godly marriage. It's a safe environment. Make sure to share because that's how you grow. If you don't share, you're not gonna grow. And you're gonna rip off other people because your experience might help someone else next to you.